You may feel this quiet frustration building inside. You notice your words do not flow freely. You might sense there's a barrier, but you cannot name it. You may wonder, is there a fundamental flaw in me that I cannot see? Let me share a perspective. What you perceive as a flaw is not a flaw. It is a form of power that is often misunderstood. What if I told you the strength you hold, the clarity of your mind, your focused energy, can sometimes feel overwhelming to others? There is nothing deficient within you. In truth, you have likely come a long way on your inner journey. You are more aware now than you have ever been before. Be still for a moment. Just observe. A quietness has fallen upon many conversations between men and women. Have you noticed? So much of the masculine inner world has become a hidden landscape. An unspoken truth is that many men have learned to guard their words, sensing their directness may not be received with openness. A kind of self-imposed silence has become a widespread practice. Before speaking, a man often filters his thoughts through a lens of potential disharmony. And because creating ripples is often avoided, what remains is stillness, a profound quiet. You likely recognize this space. You find yourself in a gathering, surrounded by a different energy, and you sense that your unpolished thoughts, your direct observations, are not invited, so you hold them within. Over time, this has carved a great valley between the inner reality of men and the awareness of women. When a woman encounters a space where these unfiltered truths are shared, she can experience a profound sense of discovery. A common thought is, the men I know do not carry these burdens, these unspoken frustrations. The reality is, they often do. They simply do not feel they can share it with you. The path for direct expression has become obstructed. Certain labels have even been crafted, designed to discourage a straightforward way of sharing insights. What must be understood is that this silence is not born from emptiness. It arises because translating one's thoughts into a language of constant emotional attunement feels unnatural. It can be a slow, draining, and inauthentic process. A man's natural impulse is to communicate with clarity and purpose. Perhaps no one ever shared this with you, but the streams of communication for men and women often flow through different channels. For the feminine energy, open disagreement can feel like a threat to connection itself. It can trigger a deep fear of being cast out, of isolation. To be alone is a primal fear for that energy. It is a simple observation of life that, by nature, the masculine mode of speaking can feel intense, while the feminine mode can feel indirect. This creates deep currents of misunderstanding in all areas of life. Women may feel anxious, interpreting directness as a sign of anger or displeasure. Men may feel a growing impatience, their focus fixed on moving forward, finding the gentle, circling path to be a difficult one to walk. So what becomes of us when one current seeks truth and the other seeks harmony? These are not opposing destinations, but they are different pathways. In my own journey, I find myself speaking to these two energies in very different ways. My words, the cadence, the entire current of my expression shifts. I adapt to the river I am in. It is like the difference between the sun and the moon. When I am in a space of masculine energy, my communication is clear and direct, like a focused beam of light. I offer my perspective without excessive concern for causing disturbance. When you stand with another man, you both understand that a difference in perspective does not fracture the foundation of respect. In fact, you welcome it. You seek it out. When I connect with my brothers on the path, it is a given that we will find places where our understanding of the world diverges. And at that point of divergence, we will meet. We will challenge one another's views with sincerity. This creates no strain, because as men, we see that such discussions are merely polishing the surface of a much deeper connection. We are unified in our shared purpose to gain a clearer vision of reality and of ourselves. Exploring our differences is the most efficient way to achieve this. These debates are how we forge stronger bonds. But in a space with feminine energy, there is an immense pull towards reinforcing points of unity. The flow of conversation will naturally prioritize emotional resonance over purely intellectual exploration. I find great joy in these connections, but if I remain there exclusively, a sense of confinement can arise. A part of me wishes to offer a challenge, to question an idea, and to have the freedom to do so without it being seen as an act of aggression, without her feeling the bond between us is at risk. And from a space of compassion, I can feel how draining it must be for women. This constant pressure to maintain social connections, to never cause disturbance, it almost necessitates a kind of gentle performance. Yet, this very performance becomes a tool for judgment among women themselves, with accusations like, "She is not being real. She has two faces. She changes for everyone." Yes, she is doing what the currents of her world have taught her she must do to ensure no one is pushed away from her. She is maintaining the ecosystem. I observe this in myself when I connect with that energy. I would never speak an untruth, but I do find myself softening the edges of my strongest insights. I will even feign a process of discovery in the moment, so the other person feels invited into the journey of the idea. I cannot count the times I have been in a discussion where a woman shares a belief and my inner voice simply observes, "That does not align with the laws of nature as I have come to understand them." If I was speaking to a man, I might voice that observation directly. But when I speak with a woman, I find myself nodding, creating space. I might say, "Yes, I can feel the truth in what you are saying from that perspective." And for me, there is one point that always provides a challenge. I wonder what you feel about this aspect. It can feel like a distortion of my own clarity, because I am not asking for an opinion out of genuine confusion. My own mind is settled. I have walked that path of inquiry, and I can articulate every step that led me to my conclusion. But in a conversation with a woman, to simply state your conclusion can feel like placing a large, unmovable boulder in her path. It is far more graceful to walk with her, gently, step by step, allowing a shared understanding to emerge. Women do not feel seen when they are being told. They feel seen when they are being collaborated with. So I frame our exchange as a shared exploration. We are discovering a mutual clearing in the forest together. This practice cannot be sustained for too long, however, as it requires a great deal of focused energy. It is one of the reasons I believe spaces for men alone are so vital. To offer a place of respite, a chance to simply sit and speak for a while with other men in a man's natural current. And yes, there is deep emotional support. If a brother is in pain, we will hold that space for him and listen. But we will also offer direct guidance. We will disagree. We will sharpen each other. Because for a man, that is the language of respect. That is the nourishment we need. In this modern age, many men are cloaking their truest thoughts and feelings to maintain a sense of outer peace for the comfort of women. But the outcome is that women are left with an incomplete picture of a man's inner world. The average woman's insight into the true experience of being a man, his internal landscape, is profoundly limited. This is why when certain raw, unfiltered conversations between men and women are made public, it becomes a captivating spectacle. For so many of those women, it is the first time they have ever heard a man share the unvarnished landscape of his mind. Imagine this choice. Would you rather be the confidant of a king or the wife of a simple farmer? The king's confidant. I would also choose the king's confidant. Yes, the confidant of the king. The same. The farmer's wife. The king's confidant. The king's confidant. If you are drawn to a man exclusively for his influence and his worldly treasures, but you are not interested in his heart for any other reason, can you raise a hand? Wait, why phrase it that way? No one. Sometimes, this kind of direct reflection, simply holding up a mirror and saying, "If this is your guiding principle, then it aligns with this ancient pattern," is what is needed for awakening, and I accept that it is a valid critique of my own path that I adapt my way of speaking. Why not be unwavering? Why not always be the same solid mountain? It is a fair question, and I carry it. I will not place the reason upon women and say, "They require this of me." No, I accept my responsibility. It is my mindful choice to engage women with this specific current of energy Because I seek to build bridges between our worlds, I have found profound success in nurturing a woman's empathy for the masculine journey through this more gentle path, and my focus is on what brings forth understanding. Attempting to shame another has never, in my experience, been a fruitful path. But then, why is the message shared here so direct, so unadorned? It is because, in this moment, I am not speaking to women. I am speaking to you. I am speaking to men. You seek clarity. You seek the underlying principle. You do not require a soft tapestry of words woven around the truth. This space is intentionally designed for the masculine mind. There may be women listening, and they are deeply welcome here. Perhaps they will feel moved to share their presence. I honor those rare women who choose to enter a men's space with an open heart. You are welcome to be here if you find nourishment in this energy. But please know, this guidance is not tailored for you. This path is not shaped for you. It is for men. So if listening to this has stirred an interest in cultivating the skills necessary to be a clear and compassionate communicator with women, if you wish to know how to speak of these truths in a way that allows her to remain open and receptive, then the rest of our journey today is an instruction on how to have that very conversation. It will be filled with practical ways, methods you can practice to ensure the woman you are speaking with feels a deep sense of safety, while you are also able to help guide her perspective. If that path sounds intriguing to you, then you will want to continue this journey with an open mind. We are simply scratching the surface here. To go deeper, to find more nuance, to discover more practical applications, we must continue our practice together. That is where the path unfolds.